Welcome back to Terp Trends. Today, we're bringing you a conversation with one of New Jersey's most influential cannabis voices, Jon Frank, better known as CertifiedDDJ on Instagram. A true staple in the Garden State's cannabis community, Jon has been at the forefront of advocacy, education, and culture, earning the nickname NJ Gasquatch for his deep roots in the scene. From making waves on Vice TV's Black Market alongside Michael Williams and Tracy Morgan to championing local cannabis events like the grand opening of Legacy to Lifted in Jersey City, Jon has built a reputation as a connector, storyteller, and trusted resource in the industry. His work extends beyond social media. He's been instrumental in supporting dispensary launches, collaborating with brands, and uplifting the legacy to legal movement in New Jersey. Today we'll dive into Jon's journey, the evolution of New Jersey market, and his vision for the future of the cannabis culture. Get ready for some real talk, insider insights, and of course, that certified DDJ energy we all love. This is Terp Trends. Let's dive in.
What's up, my Canna fam? It's your boy with the joy, Double DJ Dirty Tank, the NJ Gasquatch, the Puerto Rican Sasquatch, getting higher on the fire. We desire. Why? The cannabis that cannot miss.
That's it. That's it. My man. So where are you from, brother?
So I am from the great Garden State, Dirty Jersey. As you can see, I had to get it tatted on me. You know, we are what we are. We like to rep our little chunk of land here. I think we're one of the smaller states in the country, yet somehow we seem to be the most populated per capita.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how that works out sometimes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm in like central Jersey. I am New Jersey's first legacy to legal guided cannabis consumption that I know of. I just put that little asterisk that I know of. There are plenty of dab bars before me that I drew inspiration from. But, about 11 years ago, I started here in the Garden State going to legacy events. I started with a lot of trappers. I was just trying to, increase the value of shopping with a particular person where, if you go to shop with one of these vendors, you're going to come and have me giving you free solventless rosin dabs. And 8 years ago, 9 years ago, it was hard. Like shatter was prevalent. It was all BHO. That's all anybody knew. So
All
yeah,
hydrocarbons.
that's
You
it, man.
know?
And that's kind of where I kind of got popping was, I did Vice TV, Black Market, season 2, episode 4, and I got to teach Michael Williams what dabs were, how to dab,
Damn.
and yeah, and that was kind of like my first soiree into cannabis and media.
Yeah, that's wild. How'd you link up with Vice TV, man?
So I got to give a big shout out to my homie in Brooklyn, Smoke Betta, right? Smoke Betta um, was kind of like a mentor to me, helping me understand the nuances of the legacy culture. I exchanged value to them, and their value to me was teaching me game. They were the first brand that kind of took me out west. But at one of these events we were doing during COVID, I think it was 2020, kind of during the peak,
Yeah,
Ganja Pigs was
yeah.
they were hosting these underground events, and Jim Jones, right? Jim
Mm,
Jones came through, and it was a big party. And Vice TV, I guess, had been looking for me for about 6 days prior. They said the executive producer and the director, James Brown, found me, and he was like, "Dude, we've been looking for you at every freaking New York weed party. We heard you're the dad bag. We wanted to get you for this project." And I'm like, "Bro." Like out of nowhere, I'm taking a dab at a vending table at a Legacy Black Market event. I turn around and there's a camera crew with boom mics in my face and like audio guys, technicians, 2 cameras. And, there's a guy behind the mask. I didn't even know it was Michael Williams. When he pulled it down, I was like, oh my God, it's Omar from The Wire.
yeah, dude. That's insane. That's
Yeah.
insane. I love yeah, Omar. Dude, legend. Legend. I think he's
Hey,
in what
dude.
I'm watching now, Boardwalk Empire, and I was like, yo, that's Omar. Like, what's he doing over here,
Bro,
man?
before he passed, he also voiced
Such
a
an
character in
OG.
an animated series called The F Word. And
Word.
that was he was the traveling like vending machine filler guy. Oh, he was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild. So all of this sounds crazy, but let's go back to even before it, right? I think what the cool
Sure.
thing about this plant, as I call it, is essence, it's roots, and we have our roots, man. So can you take us back to when the squash first kind of came in touch with cannabis, and what was that like for you?
1998.
Word.
Um, East Amwell, New Jersey, behind East Amwell Municipal Building. I don't think there's any statute of limitations for a little kid smoking weed. I think I was 12, maybe 12 or 13, and I was heavily religious, and I just remember how naughty and bad, and I thought I was gonna like go to hell for it. But this kid, Timmy Castelli, class clown, funniest dude ever, and I just remember I was such an outlier. I went to East Amwell. It was a very small school. I had just come back from Utah, a brown skinned boy in an all white, like farm
Yeah,
boy school,
yeah,
and so I
yeah.
got called a lot of names and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Timmy Castelli was like, dude, meet me behind the dumpster. He's like, I want to see if you're really cool. And he brought a lead pipe. He brought a lead pipe with like a big screen. And
Yeah.
I think the story was like, he's like, yo, I found this stinky stuff in my dad's drawer and I see him smoke it every night. And then him and mom laugh. Do you want to try it? And I was like, yeah, let's try
Of
it.
course. Yeah.
And yeah, that was really, I don't even remember getting like blasted. I just remember choking and coughing and being deathly afraid my mom was going to like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
um, but I would, to really say my first experience, I was about 18, 19. I was going through chemotherapy, radiation, and cancer, and I was given prescription cannabis. Long before I was given like Marinol pills.
Marinol, yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't introduced with flower. I was for the appetite because chemo killed all my taste buds, and there were days where I'd be crying. I wouldn't want to eat because it was so disgusting. Trying to put something that tasted like wax in your mouth, you know. And then cannabis gave me an appetite. I went from 300. Let's see, when I was diagnosed, I was 6'7" or 6'6", 379 pounds.
Wow.
Um,
Big
yeah,
bowl.
and
Big bowl.
bro, and when I got done with chemo, I was 231.
Wow, man.
I lost like a
Wow.
human being. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. So cannabis really for me was introduced to me as a life-saving, quality of life enhancing medicine. But unfortunately, there was too big of a conflict with the religious morals that after I was so-called in remission by their standards, uh, it was hard. I was in addiction, got back and forth, and it wasn't looked at the way it is today as a possible harm reduction or an alternative. I call cannabis an exit drug, not an entry drug,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of that. My roots begin in cannabis as a form of medicine to address some very serious issues.
Yeah. Yeah, that is real serious, man. Just like personally, that's touching, and I'm really sorry that you individually had to go through that and all the other individuals have to go through that. But on that side, I am grateful that we do have a plant in our presence that can give you some type of relief, and I think
Absolutely.
that's magical that it's a plant giving you this relief. Um,
I will tell you, I try to push a narrative back here called cannabis inclusive recovery. I have heard the lingo from Cali called Cali sober. I've never been a fan of that
yeah,
vernacular because in my mind, it's almost like it's a joke, right? So cannabis inclusive recovery for me delineates the truth behind it, right? It is a tool that we can utilize consciously for the reduction of harm and the increased quality of life. So that's why I push very heavily, make medical great again. If all cannabis was first medical here in New Jersey, right? Let's just keep it on me and us. Thereby, that is the standard. You wouldn't have the problem we have today where you have all these legal companies that I highly doubt that their numbers are correct. I do not believe their tests are correct from everything I know. And it's audacious because they spent $400,000 to convert their medical licenses to recreational licenses. So you're telling me you spent almost a $500,000 downgrading? Is legal cannabis a race to the bottom? Is that because if that is the whole premise, Hey, I'll stop right now and just keep doing what I do, making commercials for the legacy homies.
Yeah, yeah, it is kind of wild when we battle that line of understanding of medicinal and recreational, right? Kind of what you just said. It's kind of like a downgrade, but it's more of I think as more information comes out and we can set more of a standard for testing, understand these variances per industry and per company, like we don't have a standard yet. And that's why we're able, not we're, but people are able to manipulate these numbers coming back from these testing agencies.
Right.
Pennsylvania is
And
really strict. That's where I am. I work in this medical space here. And in our testing, like it's vigorous, multi steps in the testing. Um, and I like that. But compared to other states, like when I was in Colorado and messing around in Michigan and stuff, the testing was a little different. And I came to learn the term from other people where you can shop testers. You can kind of shop for
yes,
your
so
numbers, and that's where variances come in place.
that's the problem. And here in Jersey, I've heard allegedly, no names, just allegedly, there are people who are paying to have analytes removed. So the test will be legitimate, but it will not be testing for the state mandated required molds, mildews, and all these things. And so the paperwork essentially, or your COA is going to pass.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the fail option for what it is. So the paperwork, I mean, I don't know all the details, but I'm hearing these things. It's creepy to me. And that's why it's like, wait a minute, if all cannabis is medical, I do not see a problem with somebody recreationally using medical cannabis. I do see a problem with a medical patient using recreational cannabis. So we can't have a double standard. You
Yeah.
need to apply the standard that cannabis should be looked at as medicine, period. This is the problem I feel when a lot of people don't have trauma, travesty. They didn't have the hard life, right? So they think escapism and hedonism is just like, oh, I work so very hard, and it is okay for me to come home and smoke $600 worth of weed. No, not really. When you have people sick and suffering all around you, maybe an eighth or a grand, bring them over. Listen, man, I'm gonna build a house someday. The whole world welcome. I'm gonna have like an open door policy out in the garage. You just come in and you can smoke whatever's out there.
Yeah. So what do you think the standard should be then if we're gonna keep that medicinal in place? What do you think that standard is? What's that look like?
So, I'm trying to, I do a lot of advocacy, and I
Yeah.
see my friends who do the NJ Homegrow advocacy stuff where, we're blocked here from having medicinal homegrow. It's absurd.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
absolutely absurd. But
Same here. Same in PA.
what seems to be the hope is going to be transparency and exposure. Some people are going to have their pants pulled down and they're going to have to be spanked publicly. That's the problem. A lot of these people I like, and it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of people got into the industry too early
Mm-hmm.
before it was had time to get this, and somebody has to get the bad name. Somebody eager and ambitious with all the money who came in and decided to bend things and do things less. Somebody needs to be called out and said, hey, that's the Walmart of weed. That guy. And you know what? If they want
We
that
have
title or
that.
not, like, meh,
I
no,
mean, other
we do.
states, they know what it is. It might begin with a
Correct.
T. I don't know. Um,
Or a C.
but that stuff gets out there. You know what I mean? And that's all in time. But I think that's what's going to be recognized more with these MSOs that are trying to come online. Is like, where do these small people get their place at, and how do they
Honestly,
compete? Because
yeah,
the
the
small
solution
people
should
aren't really
be
manipulating stuff.
no. The small batch craft micro licenses are where I feel it should be at. It shouldn't be where we have all these tier one monster cultivators coming in here, putting out garbage, and then using their large dollars to do disinformation campaigns. The one thing I am appalled at in New Jersey is the amount of money they pay brand ambassadors to basically hype up garbage and to give away free shit at dispensaries that I wouldn't give to my dog. Like, why are we, and then you're telling people, oh, come and smoke this. This is amazing. No, this is somebody who's walking into these legal dispensaries. This is some of their first times ever. People waited years for it to become legal. So capturing, newbies, it is, I feel, a sacred duty, right? As a Gasquatch, like that's what I like to do. It's like my podcast that I want to be, that I'm in development. It's called Truth Over Booth. That's the whole thing. I
Mm-hmm.
want people
Yeah.
to have the
Yeah.
truth over booth, not have any, let just provide information and let the person decide for themselves. Let us just do the due diligence of providing the maximum amount of relevant information to whatever trending topic is at hand in our culture, because I've noticed like that accountability comes from transparency and having a community of oversight. The
Yeah.
minute you start to hear gatekeeping and people keeping secrets in this,
Yeah.
you
It's
instantly
weird.
know it's bullshit. It's
It's
bullshit.
weird. It's weird, especially in this industry when no one's really pioneering anything new. Like all of this is pretty out there. So I think it's
Innovators.
funny when they don't want to, like there's people that won't want you in their grow for you to just see things that are going wrong. Not because they're doing anything proprietary, it's just like you're doing something nasty. Like you can't tell me you're doing something proprietary that I don't know about, that I can't see. Like that's not the case. Like well, maybe it is, not to be ignorant, but like
Are
anytime
you
I get
trailer park
denied,
boying it?
yeah, it's
Are
just
you
kind of
growing it
like,
in space?
why don't you want people in your grow? And I
Correct.
understand to be seclusive, of course, but at some point there needs to be that line of transparency of, if we are labeling this medicinal, what's going on behind your doors? Because people don't know about remediation, people don't know about CFUs and everything like that. And that's what we need to blow the door open. And that's why
People don't
buying these
know that
numbers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go, go.
the floor buds, the floor, like, I understand that they say that ethanol extraction and all this, I guess it mitigates it. But in these legal facilities, when bud falls on the floor and then employees step on it and they walk on it, I don't care that there's a little covering on their booty. What if there was dog crap or pee pee on it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they step and they sweep it up and they put it in for the edibles, for the extractions. And I guess that's an industry standard thing. And I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but my small batch homies, that doesn't happen because of the level of care they're taking when they're cutting at harvest to transplant to trim to everything. Why is bud falling all over the floor for you to step on? Why is it moldy and on the floor? And then when
yeah.
it's moldy on the floor, squish, is it going into something for humans to consume?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just wild, the whole steps that I've seen. Not in Pennsylvania, I will say again. Pennsylvania is pretty locked down, but in other states, more on the west side of things, yeah, you kind of see some things where you're like, whoa, well, how's that okay? I was with a huge vertical company, and once I got inside the inside, I was looking at things that I already had my, suspicions about. And then yeah, like they pretty much told me that their product didn't pass for mold, so they turned it into hash. I think they turned it into sift or something, and then they
Yep.
sent that, and then that failed as well, which is gnarly. And then yeah, they either turned it into rosin or they threw it into their edibles, which if they throw it in the
Correct.
edibles, it's not traceable. Um,
Correct.
and it was still under the terms legal, and
Yeah.
that's when I learned the depth of this, on how we need a better standard across the board of grading our cannabis and what happens in these
Correct.
facilities, you know.
And I think that's where the price should be commensurate with the quality. It shouldn't. We as consumers should not be paying a premium for all the MSO grown buds, right? If they're able to maximize their system and routine, that means that we should be getting $10 eighths, $15 eighths of these MSOs, right?
Yeah.
That may make sense to people who need stuff. I still don't personally vibe with that, but you know, when I go in and I see, like in New Jersey, I don't know if you've seen some of our rosins like 180 a gram. They're doing they're doing half grams for $60 for point fives,
Oh yeah.
70 $80 for a point five,
Yeah, the 80
right?
for a point five is gnarly, but
180 bucks for a half gram cart or a 1 gram cart, like of rosin.
robbery.
And that's what I'm saying. There's nothing on the only flower in New Jersey that I really stand on, like it's niche, like this my, niche cannabis Daily Muse, like their true legacy to legal that seem to be bringing quality cultivars, quality genetics, craft treatment of the product, and by the time it makes it to consumer, you know, they're not all, it's not cool, it's a black jar, whatever, they're not worrying about all the fancy packaging. The product, the trichomes, inner outer trichomes, you're getting colas, you're getting, nice, beautiful, like I would not be embarrassed to pull this out at a legacy sesh. You know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say? It's like
Yeah.
that is not a standard that has been true to New Jersey until recently. And it's nice to see that, somebody's finally stepping up and doing it, because hopefully all these other brands are going to fall in line like, crap, why aren't we hitting those? How come the culture is only shopping with one brand?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all in data, unfortunately, and that's what business can create, and you have to go through it. And I think in a year or two, that's how they kind of isolate
I
those.
don't know, bro. The data here, it's all cooked. I don't believe it anymore. Once I found out about reciprocity cells and that they're selling to each other to cook their books, I was like, these are fictitious. You can't make what? They don't know what they're selling. Somebody somewhere, again, allegedly, none of those numbers matter. So we're going to go by what the culture's saying, because all your sales numbers, they're forged, in my opinion, from what I can gather.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard some wild stories of Jersey stuff, man.
That's why
Not
I said I'm excited. I'm finally stepping into legal. So I
Yeah.
don't want to shoot myself in the foot and burn bridges, but I want to say I'm ready to be quiet. I'm ready to use two ears and one mouth and learn the system from the inside out, from sales all the way up to the CEO. I feel that if I get the perspective of the industry from the inside and I understand what this concept is, I understand it's all systems and funnels, right? This is, from liquidation. I did multi-level marketing. I've done car sales, so cannabis, I understand, right? So where are the people with the morals? Well, hopefully I'm going to be working with them. And
Yeah. It's hard
yeah,
to find in this industry, the morals.
it is.
It's,
It
it's an
is. But
unknown
when you do,
word.
you just latch on for dear life.
Yeah, well, that's the essence of the real community in cannabis is the ones with the morals, and the real ones know, and the sessions and everything like that. It all follows, and you'll find your way to it if that's what you're into.
Facts. That's the other thing. I will be the first one to admit, like when I first started, I was 99% hype, 1% truth, right? And I learned to fail fast and fail forward, and, just start minimizing the distractions. Okay, this is garbage. This is garbage. The budget rosin is not the move. A lot of people think like they're just chasing each other's numbers. They're just chasing plugs. They're not thinking about the actual brand they're building. They're not thinking about being like, even if you can't consistently get the identical product, as long as you are a master curator and that your network is deep enough, right? Just be the guy facilitating. And that's kind of how I feel like my brand and what I do is I'm a dot connector. I stitch things behind the scenes. Like I will be excited one day when I sit down and I do my chronology of all the players and these little magical
Yeah,
things that I have connected, and see that.
yeah, because you are very intertwined in these East Coast states. I'm seeing,
Midwest,
you
I
know.
got, I give big shout out to Macho Mids out in Cali, my boy MJ Mazzy. I'm part of a podcast out there. We haven't really gotten to film much, but the Mass Stoner podcast, and we met. We done Hashel Island last year together. We do, I'm trying to get more active and more traveling this year as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's sick. Now, driving into Jersey, I see you're rocking out with this educational system. What is it? The higher function, I see. And I want to
Yeah,
give them a shout out because the owner, Eric, is really pioneering this landscape of education on this side. And if you could share some of that, I mean, I'd love that, man.
100%. Yeah, Eric is awesome. So Eric approached me, I don't know, a couple years ago when he was contemplating getting into this, and I felt honored that, he's like, hey, I think he comes from the corporate background, so he had a much more professional view, and I think he recognized talent in me, and so he came to get ideas, and then watching him, through some of our strategy meetings and meeting it, and then seeing how he has executed and brought this to life, where there's like there's an SOP. There's something tangible that these corporate types they need that in order to do certain things, right? You have to have repeatability, marketability. You have to know, what is this doing? What is the cost of a customer, right? These are the kinds of things that I believe higher function is going to help aggregate information while
Yeah.
also conveying education, right? And that's same thing like I'm doing. That's why, when he asked to hire me, and I was like, absolutely. You know what? I will gladly take an opportunity to come and build and be a part of this. And he continues to throw opportunities my way and education. And yeah, no, I give him a lot of credit for, building the model that is desirable for legal companies to really get activated and engage with their clientele. He's really doing a good job with that.
Yeah, yeah, he is, man. I do want to give him a big shout out on this episode because he was watching some of my homie Rare's cannabis, and it was
Yeah,
cool to see them make that connection. And Rare kind of introduced me to him, and we're in and out of conversations. I've been trying to get them on here. They both wanted to do more of like a video shoot rather than a recording of kind of breaking it
Sure.
all down, which I'm totally into. But I was like, dude, I'm just not set up for that yet, you know. So I'm hoping
Hey,
I can get them
I got a
eventually.
studio,
I
so
know,
you
I know.
you heard the news.
I did. You want to break it to them?
Certainly. So now that it's official and I left it, we're going to be putting together New Jersey's first cannabis content house for, you know, we're going to have a studio. We'll have the equipment. We'll have engineers. We want to have community members come and be actively engaged, learning how to create poignant, powerful content and to feed themselves. If their goal is to subsidize their own personal smoke, hey, that's very easy. We'll get you 10, 20, 30, 50% discounts. Learn how to make the kind of content that the brands in the space need so they don't have to be paying social media people, right? They can just take all of this and have like a natural organic thing. We just had to have this house. And so now that it's there and now that there's you know, it's really happening. And then we have across from the Citizens Bank Arena, I'm proud to announce American Whiskey and I. It's a bar and grill with an active space upstairs. If anybody has cannabis events they would like to run in New Jersey, they have a hookah bar, and so they have authorized me to do the Beast Coast guided consumption experience indoors for concerts, for whatever. They have their bar downstairs, so it's all separated. And I want to kind of create this really cool synchronous, flow where people in the cannabis space who have been waiting their turn, right? Not There's a lot of people who came running in with money and resources,
Yeah.
but I'm one of the guys that waited a long time to be seen and to be heard, and I stayed consistent. And I see you guys, I see everybody who's doing it, and I want to use these people's money. It is our turn to be seen and heard and to share our truths and our experiences so that we can capture the next generation. I am afraid that the next generation is going to be so plagued with these hype bags. It's all about why are we worried about what it's packaged in when all we care about is what
It's
we're going
what's
to smoke
inside.
and how,
Yeah.
and if we don't have educators like Eric and myself, and we don't have experiences, that's the other caveat, the other catch. It's like the experience needs to be commensurate with the information being conveyed. If you do not have the ability, right, it's when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear, right? So that's why I like Eric. I like what he does. I like what I do. There are other J Dose. I love all these little dab bars, dab tenders, everybody that was inspired by somebody to do this. It is cool to see that we are capturing the attention and the intrigue of new consumers, new medical patients. That's my biggest thing is like, I want to show people there is a way to live and free yourselves from the grips of vices and addictions and self-harm through cannabis, but then you can transmute that even and evolve your use, right? So just as we get clean and we transition, you can now take this tool with you. And like my goal, I'll make an announcement here. I'm going to stop smoking cannabis probably by 2026. My goal is by the end of the year to stop igniting cannabis. I will definitely still consume dabs and edibles and tinctures and salves, but I want to be the example of using cannabis really to step off of everything from Suboxone, Subutex, Methadone. I do not take opiates. I have a double spinal fusion. I have degenerative disc disease. I have degenerative arthritis. I have so many pains and agony, but all I do is smoke weed. That's
Yeah.
it. I smoke weed. I take some ibuprofen. And I eat healthy, and I'm trying to have a better life. And I think if we can get more people to just share this message, the next generation is going to be okay.
This episode is brought to you by Waddle, the world's fastest and easiest way to review and track your medicinal cannabis products. Waddle offers batch-specific reviews, so you'll know what to stash or what to trash. It's exclusively available for Pennsylvania medical cannabis patients. Waddle helps you take the guesswork out of your cannabis journey and ensures transparency with the verified product track. Download Waddle now on iOS or Android. That's WODL, and take control of your cannabis experience today.
We have to continue to lead by example, all right, and speak less and do more.
Yeah, and educate properly.
That's
I think
it.
there's
And
a
that,
lot of false educators.
that I do want to put it out there. Like, even for a while, I felt unworthy, and that's why I didn't want to. I was a dab bar. I was not a guided consumption experience. I did not
Yeah.
feel qualified. But after I had, big shout out to my boy, Charles Stockhill, right? Old man of the mountain, one of the coolest dab bars that has inspired me. Him and some of these other people reached out for franchise. They're like, dude, we'd love to have you. Do you want to do it? It made me recognize, damn, I do have the industry. I am conveying the information correctly. Like I'm not out here running around giving my opinions to a degree, but I'm trying to regurgitate the information that has been time tested by ganjiers, by the traditional people that have done this for thousands of years in Hindu Kush and Nepal, and all that. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's tight, man. You're in it, baby. You're here.
yeah, dude.
You're
I didn't
doing
know.
it.
If you stay consistent, one day you're just gonna wake up and you're in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually how it goes, man. I mean, once you kind of start that momentum, you just don't want to stop it, you know? So when you say you don't want to be consuming, you mean you're just not going to be smoking
Burning. I
down
don't want to
heavy
be burning.
G?
I don't want to be
Yeah.
igniting,
Yeah.
combusting cannabis anymore.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
So I've done a lot of research, with the human body because of my cancer. And when we burn, right, when we're doing what it's called catalyzation, catalyzing, right, THCA into THC, right, it's catalyzing. So we don't. I'll put it this way: if I was smoking just a flower joint, cool. I don't know what's in these papers.
Word.
That's fundamentally at the bottom, at the end of it. I've talked with, Riley, Cannabichem. She
Yeah.
does a lot of
Yeah.
science. Yeah. So I had a conversation with her when I worked at, a chemical company. And I said, I would be thrilled if you ever decided to come up with some sort of a study to measure the amount of carcinogens and pathogens inside of the papers. Like as they're doing these, puffability tests or whatever with these little vacuum pumps,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
start to measure. And on top of it, I would postulate or hypothesize that the temperature is the problem. So as you're puffing and pulling and you're getting the cherry hot, you're then you don't if you have a forever chemical or you have something in there and now you're bringing it in, you're making it that much easier for your body to absorb it. So yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? Like I said, it would be a really cool test to see that, because I think that when that test is done, you will see that cancer and cannabis's ability to help people with cancer is undeniable. I think the reason people still have a lot of oh, it's bad for you. Well, I think it's more about how you're taking it or ingesting it or imbibing it. And if you can find the cleanest, safest, least harmful way, that's ideal.
Yeah. I got into so Pennsylvania's in the medical space here. And when we first opened stores, I was in with a dispensary chain kind of opening up their locations. And we had a vendor come in and a doctor, because there's pharmacists that have to be on grounds.
Yep.
And I made the argument because in PA everything has to be vaped. You can't combust it, right? And then I just
Gotcha.
make the argument, well, it's like if we're really treating it like it's medicine, I don't think any type of like inhalation should fall under that term. Like I don't think that fits. And I
It's
smoke,
caustic.
I vape.
Yeah, it's caustic.
I'm
It's
not
not
saying I
cannabis.
don't, but in a medical aspect, I don't think smoking, So I think it's always funny when I hit people with that. They're just like, "Yo, what are you saying?" But it's true. So I kind of gave up. I very rarely burn flower anymore. I also deal with this CHS shit, which I've been dealing with for like 5 or 6 years. But I pretty much only consume hash or rosin. I prefer hash. I prefer cured hash, raw hashish, the real
Like
shit.
like Temple Ball, like traditional.
Yes, yes. You know what I mean? And there's something about dried cured terpenes that don't affect me, but live terpenes fuck with me. And I'm trying
Gotcha.
to understand more of that, and it just stinks that
Probably
we
it
don't have
probably
that
comes down to
knowledge.
like a histamine reaction or something that you're having.
It's something because like I can burn some rosins with certain terp profiles that don't interact with me negatively at all. And then I'll rock something out like these papaya blends or these heavy fruit blends and you know, acid reflex right away. I can feel it. It changes. And I was talking to I didn't launch this episode yet, but I was talking to the Jam Man a week ago and we recorded and we were talking about that too. So it's kind of wild the differences just between live and cured hash and then the differences just between burning and vaping flower. Some more studies
Absolutely.
need to be done. Shout out to Dr. Riley Kirk for doing what she's doing with the product of smokability. If you guys haven't seen or checked that out yet, I will post this exact little clip and tag it because they're really pioneering education and just scientific
Pushing it.
digging in to what cannabis really is. And that's what we need for the whole community to get on top of, and create the new standard to understand it, and that's what we got to do. That's our job. That's our job, man.
Absolutely.
And you're out there doing it. You're an education master right now.
Hey, listen, I got one other big shout out too with information. Brent, my boy Brent from Canalytics and Flour Mill.
Yeah.
If you don't know, tap in. They're trying to revolutionize the way COAs and all this stuff are, conveyed and the way information is taken. So I think these are, Brent, Riley, these are the people on the forefront that continue to
Yeah.
challenge us and
Future
provide guidance.
4200. Future
Yeah. Oh
4200,
yeah. Oh
Dustin,
yeah.
dude. Oh yeah, man. All of them,
Absolutely.
man. Just it's really cool to see these people kind of take control of that and see where we're lacking and kind of push us in that direction. You know what I mean? So
100%.
what's on the forecast with this house, man? Tell me more about this house because it's interesting.
Yeah, Hunterdon County. So I don't want to give away all the details yet, but we'll say it is a large house, 2 floors, private property. We're going to have private security fences. It's going to be completely cameraed, inside, outside, all over. We're probably going to, we were in discussion about how we're going to do the house layout. Right now, there was a partial flood that had occurred when something upstairs, an upstairs kitchen went.
Yeah.
So the beauty of this is I've done a lot of GC work. I work with some of the best. I was a lead facility mechanic for a Fortune 500 company. I have crazy connections. I have a budget and I can eat very healthy on the budget and do a reno and help everybody create this beautiful funnel where we will all have passive income. We were going to have a place where the brands here in New Jersey will be able to interact with their customers and consumers, right? And the retail point of sale. So this content house, in my personal opinion, is going to be closing the full circle of seeing how the products are from, bud tenders, cultivators, people doing extraction. We can have industry specific people coming to this house, right? And then the owner and I were discussing about being able to rent the house out. So if these brands want to take the whole property, I mean, it's crazy. You could have 500 people there very comfortably. The house could hold 200 people in it, being upstairs, downstairs, bathrooms downstairs. I've been challenged to come up with a business plan and a strategy to remodel it in the theme of steampunk. So when you walk into the house, we will have brass lighting fixtures. We're going to rip all the plaster. The house is of older origin, so it's the old, plaster walls. The electric, dude, we're talking like that old wire, like
Yeah.
solid core copper. So it has to be completely stripped, and you're looking at a minimum about probably $250,000 in the renos alone. So just
Yeah.
understand, this is not and this house, I have been challenged to at least have a soft opening before 420.
Oh.
So a soft, I mean, and I explained, listen, you want to see what kind of cool stuff
Well,
the NJ Gas,
well, not really. If I
we're
look at
gonna,
it February, March, April. So you have about a month and a half. So if you do have
the
a good
problem,
GC, they can gut that and do that in less than a month and a
but
half.
yeah, here's the issue. Good work ain't cheap.
Yeah,
Cheap
I know.
work ain't good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're in New Jersey where the quality of goods and premiums are through the roof. But you know what's funny? I happen to have a guy in Tennessee with a big log farm and a log mill and a lumber mill. Oh, who would have known? I got my own logging guy down there. So I have an opportunity to really make this make sense. I just need the builders probably. I can get the trucks and materials here far cheaper than I could ever buy it at Home Depot or
Oh
through
yeah, 100%.
probably a local lumber yard. They could never touch what I can get. I can order particular wood. Like I think he has 1,000 acres or so down there in Tennessee. So he sent me pictures. He's like, dude, if you know anybody that's renovating their homes or doing stuff, here's this tree, here's what I'm doing per blank, per board, finished, unfinished. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is it, man. This is all, everything's coming together. But the house, I hope to really be able to offer the value to the dispensary that's backing it, right? The community at large that's going to be supporting this, the individual manufacturers, extraction labs, and whatever else that will want to use this, and each of the rooms. And we're talking about doing them thematically. So I want that, even though the whole general theme will be maybe like a steampunk, we want to do a yoga. We would like to do hash. Like I want to, Brian from Pella Polar, if you're watching,
Yeah.
shout
Yeah.
out. Here it is. I'm dropping it. I got us the location. Next time you're in Jersey, I want to do the New Jersey Pella Polar Solventless Seminar and the sesh after at the Content House. We can definitely chop it up and see if you'd like to do something like that. Definitely love to have higher function. I'd love to have the hash den and Eric there. I'd love Kusha to come, doing some of their cool stuff. I watched them doing the traditional temple ball hash at the, solving the seminars. I've been to two of them now. So, I think this is really going to finally, like, imagine you can go down to, like, in Washington, it's what, the Dank Poet. You can go to a dispensary there, grab your bud, come down, right 57, come over to the Content House. Instead of having to wonder, man, how do I get seen by these companies? Oh, there's the Content House. I just go there. It's open. Someone's there Monday through Friday, and you've got cameras, green screens. We have LED walls. It's going to be everything that you need in order to make an impactful statement. And all you got to do is support the businesses that are supporting the house.
Yeah, that's tight. That's tight. Even if you
Yeah.
like included some type of membership, you know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
a little more not just
So
discreet,
the
you
one
know?
thing I want to reach out to some of the groups that were, I used to go up at like Work and Roll in New York City. They have really cool stuff like my boy Hetty AI and Adam from Focus V back in the day were doing. They're doing like video game sessions and stuff. And I
Yeah,
think these
sick.
old, like when I was a kid, we did GoldenEye tournaments, right? Like we would
Yo,
go to my
yeah.
boy's house and we had GoldenEye brackets and
Yep.
we'd be there for 3 days, like, and then we'd have
Yeah.
LAN parties and we'd be
LAN
playing like Red
parties,
Alert.
dude.
Yeah, we would do Red Alert and, all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Big Halo guy, man. Halo LAN parties were the
Halo and Jolt. You know what you
Yep.
know about
Yeah,
that?
dude. I reminisce with my old homies sometimes and send them clips like, damn, dude, these were the golden days, the Halo LAN
Yeah,
parties,
these
man.
kids have no idea what they have, bro. I look at the kids today and I'm like these 10-year-olds look like billionaires to me. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, what you got? You got the Apple iWatches.
it's insane.
They got a pad, a tablet, a phone. They're doing business. Hey, I'm 7. I'm a CEO. Hold on, mom. I can't take the call right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild.
E-com. I gotta do the e-com. I gotta do the job. Say, my mom.
Damn, man. A cannabis content house in New Jersey. I wouldn't have seen that coming 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Even all
Bro,
these sessions that are happening, I wouldn't have seen 4 years ago. I think it's
dude.
sick.
And now that I think you can legally gift or give 1 ounce. It's like
Oh,
28
word?
grams. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm going to quote because where I saw it is from somebody I trust. Her name is Angela Speakman. She has a beautiful company called Green Shoulder. They do consumption education in home, and she has right on her business strategy. It's like, hey, 28 grams or something. It's legal to
Yeah.
do that amount. So what makes me confident about doing my guided consumption experiences, I don't sell. I don't charge for dabs. That's one thing about, I've had to only ever charge for dabs when an event wouldn't pay me or give me an opportunity to make it make sense for myself. Then I had to charge for the dab. But I am much better at finding hash makers who want their products to be paired with cool glass at an event and they want it long term. It's like, cool. If I work with Dirty Dank and I work with the Beast Coast Dab Bar, my product, my 1 gram, I send them whatever, that will be used to acquire new palates, new taste buds over the course of a year,
Yeah.
and then it makes much more sense for people to get their names out and to get, I'm excited. I wish people would, they need to come to these events. They need to come to more cultural stuff. I hope they get to pop out and really see what's good this year. We're going to do some
Yeah.
fun stuff for them.
I want to do like a blend, because PA, man, like we have events, but not as locked down as Jersey. But I think it would be cool to throw one over the bridge of Camden, like at Green Hydro or something like that. Or even, I know I talked to you about spaces before too,
So,
and bring
we
in
have,
PA brands, because I feel
yes,
like Like PA's got the freaking heat, dude. Like I know Jersey
So
does, but yo, PA's got the hidden heat that people don't know about, and I can't. I want
I
these people
agree.
to get out because it just
Shout out
educates
Jam
more.
Man. Shout out
Yeah,
Jam Man.
yeah. Shout out Jam Man. Shout out my homie Rare. There's so much fire in PA.
Philly grown solventless. Shout out Philly grown
Yo, oh
solventless.
yeah, oh yeah,
Shout out 215 Branson.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot, man, and
So
to give these
I'm
people that
working with
space, you know.
yeah, I'm working in Camden. I've been going out there 3 times a week. I'm now a brand ambassador for Kang Vape. So I'm doing their monetized YouTube live 3 times a week. And I
Nice,
partnered up with Mir Fontaine, who's from South Jersey, and he
nice.
came to me and he was like, dude, we got to do some stuff in Philly. He's like, my musical base and my demographic is there, and he's a painter and an artist. So I would, we would like to put something together, maybe get him into parlay or make some cool stuff happen. I would love to, tee it up, brother.
Yeah.
Let's definitely continue to marinate on this.
No, for sure. And that's why I wanted to finally get you on here because I just want to keep each other in the loops of how we can progress it together and interstate wise. You know what I mean? You
Absolutely.
know, because that's what it's going to be all about is just putting that all together and working with these
Oh,
people and giving
100%.
them that light. You know, because once adult use comes, it's right around the corner in PA, hopefully, and that's going to change the
And the
game.
consumption lounges are on their way too in Jersey. They're all getting ready. I've been called several times to consult already. They're like, "Hey, what do you think we should do? How do you think we should do it?" I'm like, "Here, X, Y, and Z. Hey, would you come in at 10? Yes, I will. 1099. I don't need to be your employee to come in and guest dab 10. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm excited,
that's
man.
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the only stipulation is the consumption lounge has to be attached to the dispensary.
Oh, really? Okay. I was thinking
Yeah,
they were
so
gonna have them separate, but that I think
no,
other states they have to be attached as well, right? Like what's it like in
I
Nevada and
do.
shit?
Yeah, I don't know the full details. I can only say what I've heard, but I have heard about, the chitter chatter of an event license
Okay.
being proposed. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's available or not, or if it's what, but I have heard something, put forth like, a 25,000, a 50,000, a 100,000, or $1 million like event license. You buy it one time, and then that would enable you to
To have
host
consumption.
remote consumption events, remote consumption. Like what if you wanted to do one of these, MJ BizCons? You're gonna need a remote consumption license.
Yeah. How was were you at the Atlantic City thing that just went down the other day?
No,
I
no,
wasn't
no.
able to make it, man. I tried, but I couldn't get there. I was wondering how that
Yeah,
went.
no. It
It
was
looked
it
tight.
started to snow too much. I
Yeah.
was uh I was getting ready to try, and I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, got a little wild out there. There we go. I got it. I got it back. So what else is on your horizon, man?
uh, let's see, what else do we got here? Oh yeah, I got fingerprinted. I've got my CRC badge paid for. I will be working in the legal space, so I am true legacy to legal.
Yeah.
And as far as what I do about enhancing value and helping sales and marketing, and so I will. Once I'm in and working, I'll make the big announcement for what company and where. Everybody will be able to come and shop with Dirty Dang Jersey at a legal licensed facility in the Garden State.
Yeah, that's pretty magical, huh?
Yeah, I'll lead them right to the truth over boof. You're never gonna get misled by me.
Yeah, I love that. When you first saw you drop that truth over poop, I was like, yo, that's awesome. That's fucking hysterical, dude. I was like, rock on. You grabbed that title so well.
Thank you, man. Yo, and
Yeah.
it was fun. I've been testing it out at events and stuff and listening for feedback. And this one lady, she just lost it. Big shout out to Weed Mom IG when she was like, truth over boof. I was like, that's it. All I need to do is see somebody have that kind of reaction hearing it for the first time. It's done. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. So another personal question, man. What's it like dabbing these cannolis, huh? I see these cannolis popping up.
Bro, bro. All right, I didn't know. I'm a melthead. So I've been converted. My boy Eball 710 completely spoiled me. So I am now being mentee. I'm a mentee. He's my mentor. I'm learning solventless single source seed to wash extraction. He's got the low temp industries V2 plates and that whole thing. He's got nice little cold room and it's just cool to be able to finally learn the art and having somebody with such incredible like discipline, right?
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people who consume hash, they
Mm-hmm.
consume it so fast. Now that I have seen the scrutiny and the procedure and the diligence he goes through to keep it clean, I am I'm gobsmacked. I'm like, oh my God, I've been blowing through hash. I have been so disrespectful. I've been so disrespectful. There's no other way to put it, because if you're smoking quality hash like my boy's making, and like what he's introduced me to, he's gotten
Yeah.
my standard up.
The
It's
melt.
not like I won't smoke budget. I'll smoke some budget in a bind, but if I can get that like gross
There's
space
no
killer
melt on a
818
budget.
headband, yeah. If I can get some gross space killer 818 headband or some Evolve like frosted onions, dude, and then the melt. So for the first time, like when we washed, we pulled the 90U out, right? And we isolated the 90U and we kept some 90U melt, and then we cured it up so that we could do the melt and the cured rosin, right? And then I told my boy Italian, my friend Connor McGregor, Bud Tender of the Year, I was like, dude, I saw Connor doing a cannoli, bro. He took a bait. He rolled out a flag. He took a gob of the same thing, slapped it in it, rolled it up, and Italian's like, what? He's like, oh, dude, I got the 90U straw guava and the 90U straw guava cure. I'm like, hey, yo.
Yeah,
And
man.
my first cannoli, bro, I swear, if you really want to be smacked out of your gourd, you do a melt and a little cure and you Gucci.
Yeah. Melt is where it's at, and once you experience proper melt, you never go back. And then you look at everything else like, what the fuck is
Yo,
this?
and what's so cool is like, so I heard at Ego Clash, brands were getting put over on the B table for impurities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they immediately were checking hairs or whatever. So when I heard that, I remembered,
Hairs.
yeah, my last job, I had scientific equipment available to me, and I got a property pass, and I got it's like a $4,000 Bausch and Lomb trinocular, and
Yeah.
I gave it to my boy, and I'm like, bro, let's do this. So
Yeah.
now it was crazy. We were able to go and look at the melt. And he was telling me about salt and pepper. And like, I was like, yo, is this full melt? He's like, well, technically, if there's
Yep.
any salt and pepper, it's not full melt. So all these people saying that they're smoking full melt, when you see the little black dots and all that, that's not full melt.
No. Nope.
Right? And
Nope.
I'm like, because everybody I'm seeing who's saying they're smoking full melt, their
Nah.
bangers are full of black salt and pepper everywhere.
Chazed
I'm
up
like,
bangers.
somebody's pulling your leg, dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I ran with some homies growing up that were pretty heavy in the scene, and I was like first introduced to melt before really like BHO, or even we called it honey back in the day. But there's something about just raw heads, right? Just speaks for itself. And then when I saw
Bro.
the bull making these cannolis, shout out, was it Hitalia?
Yep,
I was
I
just
tell you.
like, yo, way to coin that. That is same with like the truth over booth, or what is it, truth or booth. Um you just coin those fucking words, man. Something that
Uh,
sticks. And his name, High Italian, rocking a cannoli, I was just like, it's fucking genius.
I tell you, and you know what's cool? Italian, right? He was the first legacy brand that showed me what value is when you don't buckle your prices to compete. When you
Mm-hmm.
recognize the quality of your product is such that whatever value you initially set, if you ever go below that, you have just proven to your constituency that it is not worth it, that you are selling it for a profit. What I've always appreciated by Italian is like the product has always been commensurate. Like there's homies that he'll encourage people. I've seen it. He's encouraged his own clients to go shop with other hash makers at times. He's like, hey, that guy over there, I'm gonna be honest, he's cheaper. If if you can't afford my $90 G's all the way up, go over there. And within a week they're coming back to him like, bro, here's $1,000. I don't care. I need yours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the quality, man, of the heads. He gets it. And I think once
That's it.
people catch on, so shout out that man. I applaud that man. When I see in like things like that make me spark, I get excited. And I was like, damn, I need a cannoli. So I'm excited once we
Went
cross paths.
crazy. I went crazy when I saw people in Hawaii people in Hawaii requesting Italian,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Big shout out to 818 Dispo Girl. I saw she does clouds and she checked me one day. Here she is sitting in Hawaii and she put up the high. I'm like, what is going on? You
Yeah.
doing it, boy. You doing it, boy.
So talk about the melt. I saw you rocking some Bryantist the other day.
Wow. Dude, shout out to Bryantist. He hit me up immediately on DM. I've been DMing him ever since like the Zach. So he did the Saved by the Bell phone, and then he did
Hmm.
like the app. Like I've been loving that stuff, right? And I've just been like, this is so unreal. And then finally, for the first time, it's been around our local legacy plugs here. And when it came on the menu, I'm like, bing, bang, boom. I also got the 710 Friends and Family thumbprint.
Nice.
It
Nice.
was the Chem Dog times Skunk, Chem Dog Skunk, Chem Dog Skunk, and yeah, bro, both of those products. It was watermelon cot cake and purple papaya, first and second wash by the Bryantist, and I could not believe it. I did a 480-degree terp slide melt, and it felt like I call them nose gnomes. Right, I had the nose gnomes where they go up and they're like little spikes and they're like banging on your. You want to ski. Yo, the terps hit so hard and within seconds, instant terp sweats. I was medicated to my core. It was so refreshing
Hmm.
to finally see. Okay, a lot of people hype. I don't care. I'm not that guy. I do like terps. Like I do enjoy that, but I want the potency. I need
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.
So Brian Tisk gets a dirty dank Sasquatch approved thumbs up.
Yeah. He's a cool dude, man. He'll be on here soon. We've just been trying to lock down the date. The weather's been a little crazy over there, and he's going through it. But everything's fine. And once he's on here, I think it'll be cool to talk
Hell yeah.
about his melt. But yeah, I when I saw it, I hit him up, and he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's cool, man." So then I said, "That's cool, man. It's coming over here. People are recognizing quality finally." You
Bro,
know,
wait till you see the battle of the brands going off. Oh, the biggest
what's
brands
that?
in Manhattan. So in New York, there's I don't know who's hosting it right now off the top of my head, but yeah, it's called Battle of the Brands, and it's the best plugs, the best cultivator, like who's got this, and so it's really cool to see. This is all voting by customers. So this there's no cook in this. You have to just put it out there, and they're letting all Epiphany, Golden Green Exotics, Dr. D. Um, Dang, there's so many more. White Boy Kev, all these people are on this list, and so I think the event itself will be certain brands are being paired up for certain products to see whose product is better at the final event or something. So yeah,
Wow.
definitely. Yeah, I will make sure to send you the flyer as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, well, stay tuned for that. That sounds sick, man. Well,
Yeah,
my brother, I appreciate your time, my dude.
I appreciate you as well, my guy.
And launch your socials on here so people can stay up to date with you because you're a busy man, and I think they want to stay
Yes.
tuned with what's happening.
Yes, we are proud to be all together finally. I am on X. You can get me at NJ Gasquatch. That's NJGasquatch. Instagram, certified DDJ. So certified like 3Ds and J. YouTube, Dirty Dank Jersey. Uh, and also my other YouTube channel, Truth Over Booth. We will start posting some videos soon. And the other IG podcast is Truth Over Booth, TruthOverBoof. Don't be a goof. Smoke the truth.
Yo, I hope I can be a special guest on that because I'd love to call people on some booth
Absolutely.
dog.
Bro, so I want you to know the whole premise is going to be I'm going to let whoever's on do the negging. I don't do negativity. So I want people to just share their truth and let the truth speak for itself.
Word. I like it. Well, stay tuned. This was Terp Trends. Check it out. All right.